The biggest issue I had here was deciding which board game box to use to hold up my camera. Hi, I'm Dr. McFerrin from DMExplains. In this video, we're going to look at creating functions in Python, and also show you how to call your new functions from a Python script. To do this, I'm going to use PyCharm as my IDE, but you can use any IDE you like. My guess is that if you are comfortable enough with Python programming to learn how to make functions, you know how to create and execute a Python script. The first thing that I will do is create a .py file. I use the touch bash command to do this, but you can create the file however you want. The file I'm creating will be used for the functions I'm going to create in this video, and I'll call it functiondemo.py. Next, I'll open that file. The key term to start a function is def, which is short for define. The syntax is def space function name, open parentheses, input arguments, close parentheses, colon. I'll leave a comment in this file so that way you visually can see that is the syntax. After the definition statement, I'll include any instructions this program is going to carry out. In this first example, I'm creating the function named square, which simply computes the square of the input argument. To get an output, I'll have to use the key term return, followed by the output variables separated by commas. To test out this function, I will navigate to the Python console in PyCharm. You can also handle this from inside another Python script, which we will see later in this video. To use this function, I'll use the following command: from file name, import function name. Then I can simply use that function name as a command. For example, I can calculate the square of 2 to get 4, or the square of 3 to get 9. Let's go back and produce a more complicated function. In fact, I'll use the function name more complicated. I'll do the definition statement in the same way I did before. Normally, when I write a function, I include comments just below the definition statement that give me information about the inputs, outputs, and call format of the function, but I'll leave that out here. In this function, I will compute g, which is equal to x times y, as well as computing h, which is x squared plus y cubed. I will then return g and h. To test this out, I'll actually kill my current Python console because even though I have saved my file, it does not recognize the change. Next, I'll open up a new Python console window. Then I'll import my new function from the file. I'm going to use a different trick here, which is to use the asterisk or star on the import command, which imports every function in a file. To test this function out, I'll input x equal to 1 and y equal to 1. The result is that I get g equals 1 squared, or 1, and h is equal to 1 squared plus 1 cubed, or 2. Notice that if I don't define variables to store the output in, it just returns an array of the responses. If I use variables to store the data is stored but not printed. In PyCharm, I can see these values on the variable sidebar, but to actually show the results, I would have to use a print statement. Now, I want to show you how to call these functions from within a Python script. I'll create another Python file and I'll import all my functions from the function demo file. Then I'll save the outputs of the more complicated function in variables g and h with inputs 2 and 2, and the result of square I'll store in the variable y. As an input to the square function, I'll use h, the second result from my more complicated function. Then I'll use the print commands to actually print these results out. Let's run it and check the results. I'll pull up the actual functions for reference. For g, we get 4, which is 2 times 2. For h, we get 12, which is 2 squared, which is 4, plus 2 cubed, which is 8. 4 plus 8 is 12. Finally, for y, we get 144, which is h squared, or alternatively, 12 squared. We can confirm that our functions worked. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully this video exposed you to the mechanics of using functions and creating functions in Python. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. And if you found it particularly helpful, I would really appreciate your support on Patreon. For DMExplains, this is Dr. McFerrin. Thanks for watching.